Hey everyone, it's Walker and welcome back to All About Nails, where we talk about vegan and cruelty-free nail polishes. And today I'm really excited to share kind of the second part of my review of Zoya's winter collection, the Jubilee collection. I guess maybe the holiday collection. I don't know, their winter holiday collection 2018. And if you watched my previous video, which I'll link up above and also down below if you haven't seen it, I did kind of the typical talk about the polish, show you a swatch picture, show you some live swatching, and gave just kind of my general thoughts. Now what I want to do is go polish by polish and give you some comparisons from my collection to give you a sense of how different they are, how unique they are, and where they kind of fit into your collection. So what I'm going to do is show you the new polish and then also two other polishes that are similar, or the most similar that I could find in some cases. Some of these are pretty unique. And then I will show you a still of each polish on a swatch stick compared, just so you can kind of see what they look like when they're dry and out of the bottle and with a top coat, because I think that can be really helpful as well. So if you're interested in seeing some comparisons of the Zoya winter collection, then stay tuned. Okay, first I'm going to cheat a little bit. This is the Leopard topper. I just want to put a disclaimer that I have no other polish from Zoya like this in my collection. In my review I talked about, wanting to shout them out for coming out with something that was unique, so this one I have no comparisons of. Just want to check that off the list. And so the first polish that I do actually have a comparison of is this gold foil. This is Astrid. And Astrid is absolutely stunning, and I have here two polishes to compare it to. I have Ziv and Maria Luisa. And so I picked Ziv to compare it to because Ziv is Zoya's other, I think, super popular gold foil polish. So it's the one that I think is closest in finish and color to Astrid. But you'll see in the swatch comparison that Ziv is a lot more of a yellow gold, and Astrid, it looks almost like brassy compared to Ziv. So they're definitely different in terms of the color. And then I wanted to compare it to Maria Luisa because Maria Luisa is a very different finish. It's a topper. It takes lots of coats to get opaque, like maybe 3 if I'm remembering correctly. So the finish is very different. But I do think that the gold color is a little bit closer, at least, than it was to Ziv. I think they both kind of have some brassiness to them. They're not quite yellow gold, they're a lot warmer. So I thought this was a closer comparison. Astrid has like stripes, that has flecks of color that are very similar to Maria Luisa, but it has other flecks of gold that are a very different color too, so they're not a perfect match. All in all, I think Astrid is a really unique polish in Zoya's collection, and I'm really glad that I added it to my collection. All right, up next is Leigh, and Leigh is the one that I'm wearing on my nails right now. Leigh is in the middle here, and the other two polishes that I'm comparing it to are Chantal and Jack down here. Jack is from the summer collection, so these are both 2018 releases, which I think is helpful. In the bottle, I would say these three look super similar, especially Leigh and Jack. They look very, very similar. There are other polishes as well that look very similar to this family, this like super creamy nude. In the Zoya collection, there are several like this. I will say that Leigh is pretty distinct in my collection. In the bottle, they look very similar, but I think you can tell a little bit here that Leigh definitely leans a lot more pink than Jack, which has a little bit more brown in it. And then Chantal, which is almost like grayer and whiter. It doesn't have as much of that warmth that Leigh does. So I definitely think Leigh is unique in my collection, which I was surprised by, to be honest. When I first saw the bottle kind of pictures coming out on people's channels, I was convinced that I was going to have a dupe for it. It is similar. You'll see in this swatch photo, it is very similar, but it does look unique in my collection. All right, and next is the other kind of nude or neutral polish in this collection, and this is Carson. Carson's here in the middle, and this one was another one that I was convinced that I had a dupe for in my collection, that Zoya had already released this color, or at least had released it in their currently released collection. But again, I was kind of surprised by how different it was from the other ones in their collection. So I'm comparing it here to Mia and Piper. And Piper is kind of my go-to blush. It's not super mauve, it doesn't have a lot of purple in it, it's definitely a blush, definitely a pink. But Carson is different than both of them. So Carson has a lot more purple and dustiness than Mia. Mia is a bit pinker, and Carson is a little bit more grayed out it's almost got more like red in it. And Piper definitely has more pink. It's softer. And again, I think Carson I would almost describe as having more of like a dusty red quality. I was surprised. I really liked Carson, and it was pretty different from the other polishes in my collection. Alright, and now we're getting a little bit more into the holiday part of this collection. So here in the middle is Alison, and I'm comparing it here with Quinn and Chiara. And definitely Zoya has a lot of colors in this like punchy berry pink purple family. Again, I feel like Alison is pretty different from the other ones. So you can see that if I compare Alison with Chiara, Chiara has a lot more purple and Alison looks much pinker here. And then if I bring in Quinn, Quinn is almost a little bit more red and a little bit deeper, and it makes Alison look a lot pinker. So I think these are the closest that I have in this like berry family, but they definitely are different in the bottle and also on the nail. Okay, this one I'm pretty excited about. I think it's pretty fun. Earlier this month I released a video that was me trying to de-stash some of my discontinued Zoya polishes that were in my collection. I decided I like didn't really need to hold on to them, and so I wanted to get rid of the ones that I didn't love. And I kept one just because I wanted to compare it to one of the polishes that I knew was coming out in the Jubilee collection. And that polish was Taryn. So this is from the new collection, and it's this beautiful, you know, pink with a blue flash. It's absolutely gorgeous. And the one that I held on to just to compare it was Brooke. And Brooke definitely is similar in description. It is a fuchsia pink base with a blue flash, and it's beautiful. If you saw that video, you know the formula on this was like not stellar. It was pretty flat and opaque, but like not, I don't know. This formula was not great on this one. It was pretty thin. The formula on Taryn, however, is fabulous. And I would say these are super similar. The blue flash in Taryn is much stronger than in Brooke, which I think makes me like it a lot more, honestly. I find it a lot more interesting than I did find Brooke. And so I'm really glad that I held on to Brooke for this comparison, but Taryn feels totally like a step up. So glad that they brought this shade back, but glad that it's better. And then the polish in their current collection that I think is the closest, but definitely not a dupe, is Annika. And Annika is a very similar color base, and it has a blue flash in it, but the shimmers in Annika are a little bit larger. You can kind of see them with your eye. They're not just a flash, they are actually pieces of glitter. And the glitter in here is actually, I think there's some gold glitters in here, and that's kind of what gives it the like texture that it has. Not texture, it's not a textured polish, but like you can see the pieces of glitter on your nail. I'm describing this really poorly, but hopefully you understand what I mean. But definitely these are similar, so if you like Annika, if you have it and you like the kind of sheen, the combo of the like fuchsia base with the blue flash, I think you'll really like Taryn. I would say Taryn is worth picking up. It's totally different from anything else in the Zoya collection in my opinion. Again, one that I was convinced I was gonna have a dupe for, this is Maxine. And Maxine is the red in this collection, and if you watch my swatch video, you know that it has a lot of pink in it, and so I was convinced that it was going to be really similar to some of Zoya's other red pink kind of corally red polishes. So I'm comparing it here to Sonja, which is one of those corally red polishes, and then I'm comparing it to America, which is kind of a like mid-tone red. It's kind of a classic red shade. And these are the closest that I could find, but they are totally different from Maxine. So Sonja definitely is a pink leaning red, no doubt about it, but compared to Maxine, Maxine is much deeper, much more appropriate for the holiday season than for the summer, which is kind of Sonja's a summer polish. So I really like this. I think I would almost classify Maxine as a coral red because it has so much pink in it, but it's much deeper and much less of this pink vibrancy that Sonja has. I feel like as I'm going, I'm like totally losing my ability to describe colors, so forgive me for that. So again, I compared it to America because I think America is a kind of classic red in the Zoya collection. It's kind of a very straightforward red, but it has a little bit of a pink undertone in my opinion. It's a warmer toned red, and I think, I don't know, Maxine is very different. Maxine was not enough orange to be compared to some of Zoya's polishes, and then not enough purple to be compared to other reds of their polishes, so I really found Maxine to be pretty distinct in my collection. Right. And then another distinct one, this is Cookie. Cookie is a pixie dust that is purple with some gold flecks, and pretty distinct. I didn't have anything like it in my collection. The other polish that I'm pulling in here is Zoya's one of their other purple pixie dusts. This is Carter, just to show you kind of how different these two purples are. I think because Carter's like a purple base packed with purple glitters and Cookie is a purple base packed with gold glitters, they have totally different styles to them. The purple on Carter is also much richer than the purple on Cookie. Cookie is like a almost grayed out purple. It's a little bit softer, and the purple on Carter is like super blingy, very intense purple. So these are totally different. If you have other purple pixie dust from Zoya, these are pretty different. The next polish is Chiara, and this might be a place where I don't have the polishes that are closest. Zoya's purple creams are the ones that I own like the lowest percentage of, because I was convinced that I hated purple polish for a really long time. Who knows? People change. I'm working on getting the rest of them. So I pulled the ones that I think are closest. If you have one that you think is closer to Chiara, I would love to hear from you. So, you know, let me know what you think is maybe closer than the ones that I pulled here. So I pulled Mira and Maeve. And the reason I pulled Maeve is because it's kind of their most recently released purple polish. And so I want to start there. These are like totally different purples, right? Maeve has a ton more red in it, whereas Chiara is much more blue toned, much cooler. So I just want to start there because they're totally different. But Maeve is from their fall collection, so you might have this one in your collection because it's so recent. And then the other one I picked was Mira. I think Mira, I picked it because it's a very similar kind of tone to Chiara. It's cool toned, but it's definitely not as deep of a purple as Chiara, so it's pretty different for me. I thought that Mira was a pretty deep purple, and then I tried Chiara. They're pretty different. But again, this might be a place where I don't have the best comparison references, so, you know, let me know if you think there's a better purple in Zoya's collection to compare to this one, and I'd love to hear it. Oh my gosh, this is the one I was the most excited for. So this is Danica. This is their teal cream in this collection. This one I'm obsessed with. I'm in love with it. I think everybody needs it. Just gonna say that out there. I am comparing it to Cynthia. Cynthia is their other kind of dark teal polish, but Cynthia is like totally different from Danica, right? Cynthia is super dark, almost like doesn't even look teal on your nails, and Danica is really green. Like it has a lot of the green that you think of when you think of teal. So these two are totally different. If you have Cynthia, great, it's a beautiful polish. Not an excuse to not get Danica. Everyone needs this polish in their collection. Okay, next is Juniper, and I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I think the polish closest to Juniper in Zoya's collection is Danica, the polish that I just talked about. Juniper is super different from any pixie dust in their collection. It has like a purple flash, it has a teal flash, it has silver glitter. It's absolutely stunning. This is a beautiful pixie dust. I also think it's really distinct from any of their other polishes. It reminds me a little bit of Aloe Vera, like it's like purple blue flashes, but if you put them next to each other, they look nothing alike. So I think Danica is the closest in terms of color, and I would definitely combine these like in a manicure together, but definitely nothing dupes Juniper in their collection. All right, so the last polish that we're gonna look at is Kateri, and this is the brown in their collection. And I don't have very many of Zoya's kind of deep browns. They have a couple. Amelia, I believe, is a really deep brown, and maybe a couple others. I do have some browns like Nina, but Nina has a lot more red in it. So the one, I don't really have any of their like kind of pure brown polishes that are this deep. So the one that I do have to compare to it is actually one of their discontinued polishes. So this is Kody. And this again was in that like D-stash video that I referenced earlier. Kody is a brown with a lot of green undertones. And I thought it was gonna be very similar to Kateri because Kateri is this like super deep brown. But honestly, they're pretty different. Kateri is a lot warmer. It does not have the green undertones that Kody has, and the formula on Kateri is like spectacular. It's stunning, it's beautiful, it's amazing. And the formula on Kody was like okay, but nothing compared to the formula on Kateri. So I think Kateri is super unique in their collection, this like super dark, almost black brown. Okay, awesome. So those are the polishes from the Jubilee collection. Let me know what you thought of this kind of structure for a video, if you liked having the like swatches and informational part first, and then the comparison second. Also let me know if you think there are any comparisons that I missed. Zoya has a huge collection, and I tried to pull the ones that looked the closest when I looked at my swatch sticks and my bottles, but if there are ones that you think are even closer, I would love to hear your thoughts. And let me know if this was helpful, let me know what I could have done to make it more helpful, and definitely give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you in the next one. All right, and this one is a place, I have started every single one of these with all right. All right, oh my god, I did it again.